Integers. We have chapter 1 integers. We concluded on page number 24, exercise 7 in the last video. Chapter 1 it is integers. We were doing exercise 7. First question we have completed. Now let's come back to let's start with second question. The second question is, a cement company earns a profit of rupees 9 per bag of white cement sold and a loss of rupees 5 per bag of grey cement sold. Rupees 9 on white cement and rupees 5 on grey cement. GCWC. 9 per bag of white cement earns a profit. This is profit, rupees 9 profit on each bag of white cement, and there is a loss of rupees 5 on each bag of grey cement. In the first case, the company sells 7,000 bags of white cement and 6,000 bags of grey cement. It is selling 7,000 bags of white cement and 6,000 bags of grey cement. So we know that the profit is 9 on each bag of white cement. Then we have 9 zeros, 9 zeros, 9 sevens are 63. It is 63,000 is the total profit in that case, and we have 5, 6 are 30, 30,000 is the loss. So ultimately they are gaining 33,000 profit when they sell 7,000 bags of white cement and 6,000 bags of grey cement. What is its profit or loss? The question was, what is its profit or loss when they sold 7,000 bags of white cement and 6,000 bags of grey cement? In that case, they got 30,000 as loss and they incurred 63,000 as profit. So when we deduct loss from profit, they end up 33,000 rupees as profit in that month. Then the second case is, what if the number of white cement bags it must sell to have neither profit nor loss if the number of grey bags sold is 5,400. The grey bags sold are 5,400. We know there is a loss of 5 rupees at 5 rupees on each bag of grey cement. We have 500, 5 fours are 20, 5 fives are 25, 26 and 27,000 is the loss. Now how many white cement bags they should sell to cover up this loss? 27 being a multiple of 9. You can understand from this. So we have 27,000. It should be divided by 9. 9 3s are 27. Then we have 0 here. Take these 3 zeros from here to the quotient. Then they should sell 3,000 bags of white cement to cover up this much loss after selling 5,400 bags of grey cement. That was 27,000. So if they sell 3,000 bags of white cement, they will end up with no loss and no profit in that month. They will end up with no loss and no profit. The numbers, the important numbers, what we were to note down, we were to make a note clearly was 9 rupees profit on each bag of white cement. 9 rupees profit on each bag of white cement and 5 rupees loss on each bag of grey cement. In 1 month, they sold 7,000 bags of white cement, getting a profit of 63,000. And in the same month, they sold 6,000 bags of grey cement, incurring a loss of 30,000. But because the profit was more, they ended up with 33,000 as profit after deducting the 30,000 losses. Then in the next month, they sold grey cement 5,400 bags, incurring a loss of 27,000. If they want to cover up that much of loss, how many white bags they should be selling? They should be selling 3,000 white bags to end up with no profit and no loss. Actually, there is no loss when we divide the loss by 9, because 9 was the number, 9 is the number, 9 rupees they are getting profit on each white cement bag. So when we divide 27,000 by 9, we have 3,000. So they should be selling 3,000 bags of white cement to end up with no profit and no loss in that month. Then going to the third question. The temperature at 12 noon was 10 degrees Celsius above zero. The temperature at 12 noon was 10 degrees Celsius above zero. So the temperature at 12 noon, 12 noon, not moon, it is noon, is 10 degree Celsius. It is 10 degree Celsius above zero. Then if it decreases at the rate of 2 degrees Celsius, it decreases at the rate of 2 degrees Celsius per hour until midnight. Until midnight. 2 degrees Celsius minus until midnight. Midnight occurs. Midnight means it is 12 in the night. Midnight. Mid means center of night. That is 12. So the question is, at what time would be the temperature? At what time would the temperature be 8 degrees Celsius below zero? At what time it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius? The temperature would be, at what time it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius is the question. So the temperature is falling 2 degrees Celsius every hour after 12 noon and until midnight. It is until midnight. After midnight, again it might be raising. Again the temperature might be increasing. What would be the temperature at midnight? Two questions are, what would be the temperature at midnight? There are two questions in the third question here. The temperature is falling 2 degrees Celsius every 2 hours, and at 12 noon it is 10 degrees Celsius. At what time it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius, and at midnight what would be the temperature? So in between midnight and 12 noon there are 12 hours. There are 12 hours. So here 12 into 2 is 24. It is 24. But at noon it was 10 degrees Celsius. So 24 minus 10 is 12. So at midnight it would be minus 12 degrees Celsius. At midnight it would be minus 12 degrees Celsius. And at what time it would be minus 8? Here between minus 8 and minus 12 there is one number, minus 10. So at 11 it would be minus 10. At 10 p.m. in the night, at 10 p.m. in the night it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius. So we'll just begin it again. We'll just revise it again. At 12 noon, the temperature is plus 10 degrees Celsius. It is above 10 degrees Celsius. Above 10 degrees Celsius. The question, I will read it back again. The temperature at noon was 10 degrees Celsius above zero. It is above zero means it is plus 10. If it decreases, the statement is, if it decreases at the rate of 2 degrees Celsius per hour until midnight. Every hour it is coming down 2 degrees Celsius. Every hour it is coming down 2 degrees Celsius. So the question is, at what time it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius? At what time would the temperature be 8 degrees Celsius below zero? 8 degrees Celsius below zero is minus 8 degrees Celsius. And at midnight, what is the temperature. We know in between 12 noon and 12 midnight, in between 12 noon and midnight the time is 12. So in between 12 and 12 we have 12 hours. So 12 into 2 is 24. So the temperature has come down 24 degrees from 10. So 24 degrees from 10 is 24 minus 10 is minus 12 degrees Celsius. So at midnight the temperature is minus 12 degrees Celsius. At what time it would be minus 8. Every hour we know it is coming down 2 degrees. So at 11 p.m. it would be minus 10 degrees Celsius, and at 10 p.m. it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius. Please make note, children. I made a mistake. Sorry, here I made a mistake here. It should be 24 minus 10. 10 is not 12. It should be 14. So it should be 14 degrees minus 14 degrees Celsius at midnight, obviously, and at 9 p.m. It should be at 9 p.m. As every hour it's going down 2 degrees. At 11 p.m. it would be minus 12. At 10 p.m. it would be minus 10. And at 9 p.m. it would be minus 8 degrees Celsius. Not a big difference. Here actually when I subtracted 24, when I subtracted 10 from 24, it should be 14, but I made a mistake there. I wrote 12 there. So it should be minus 14 degrees Celsius at midnight, at 12 in the night, and minus 8 degrees Celsius will be at 9 p.m. because it is going down. It was going down 2 degrees. It was going down 2 degrees Celsius every hour. So minus 14, before minus 14 was minus 12 at 11 p.m. Before that at 10 p.m. it was minus 10. It should be minus 10 at, and at 9 p.m. it should be minus 8 degrees Celsius. Children, please clear it. Please correct it in your notebooks as well. Then we'll do the fourth and fifth question in the exercise 7. That would conclude our chapter. So the fourth question is, in a class, plus 3 marks are given for every correct answer and minus 2 marks are given for every incorrect answer and no marks for not attempting any question. I repeat, 3 marks for every correct answer and minus 2 marks for every wrong answer and no marks, 0 marks for not attempting any question. Radhika scored 20 marks. If she has got 12 correct answers, how many questions has she attempted incorrectly? Mohini scores minus 5 marks in this test, though she has got 7 correct answers. How many questions has she attempted incorrectly? Let's note down the numbers. Let's note down the data. The fourth question, 3 marks for every correct answer and minus 2 marks for every incorrect answer, 0 marks for not attempted. Radhika, in the first instance, got 12. She got 20 marks from 12 correct answers. She wrote 12 correct answers and she got 20 marks. How many questions has she attempted incorrectly? So she got 20 marks from 12 correct answers. If she has given 12 correct answers, she should get 36. 3 2s are 6, 3 1 is 3. she should get 36 marks, but she actually got 20 marks. That is 16 marks less. 36 minus 20, actually what she got is 20 marks. She should have got 36 marks if we were to just consider the correct answers. But she got 16 marks. So 16 marks were, she got 20 marks, 16 marks she lost owing to incorrect answers. How many incorrect answers? Because we know that every incorrect answer carries minus 2 marks. So we divide 16 by 2. So she wrote 8. Radhika wrote 8 incorrect answers. She wrote 8 incorrect answers. She wrote 12 correct answers. And that concludes that she has attempted 20 questions in all. She has attempted 20 questions in all. She got 12 correct answers and 8 incorrect answers. So from correct answers she got 36 marks. She lost 16 marks owing to 8 incorrect answers. Ultimately she ended up with 20 marks. In the second case, Mohini scored minus 5 marks in the test, though she has got 7 correct answers. Mohini's score is minus 5 and she got 7 correct answers. 7 correct answers. She should have got 3 sevens, 21 marks, but she got minus 5. She got minus 5 here. So 21 plus 5 is 26. Minus of minus is plus. We were to deduct minus 5, but here it is already minus. Minus of minus is plus. So 26, and we know that every incorrect answer carries 2 negative marks. We need to divide 26 by 2. So it is 13. So Mohini attempted 13 incorrect answers. She wrote 13 incorrect answers out of the 20 questions she attempted, and she got 7 correct answers. For 7 correct answers, she got 21 marks, but lost 26 marks due to 13 incorrect answers she attempted. Got it, children? The question was, the statements were given data 3 marks for every correct answer and minus 2 marks for every incorrect answer and 0 marks for not attempting. 0 for not attempting. If you leave the question without answering, you will not lose anything. But if you attempt and get a incorrect answer, you will lose 2 marks. Instead of gaining 3 marks or losing nothing, you will lose 2 marks. So you should be careful before attempting any question, whether you know it or not. You should be confident. If you are confident, you should attempt. So Radhika scored 20 marks when she got 12 correct answers. We know that every correct answer carries 3 marks. So she should have got 36 marks, but we know that it is given she got only 20 marks. So from the actual marks she should have got, from the marks she got, in fact, she lost 16 marks. How she lost 16 marks? Because she attempted 8 incorrect answers. When she attempted questions and she got 8 incorrect answers, she lost those 16 marks. 8 plus 12 is total 20 questions. There were 20 questions. She got 12 right and she got 8 wrong and ended up with 20 marks ultimately. Then in the next case, Mohini got minus 5 as her score, although she got 7 correct answers. Out of 7 correct answers, for 7 correct answers, carrying 3 positive marks, 3 marks each, she should have got 21 marks. 21 marks she should have got, but her score is minus 5. Minus 5 minus 5 is plus 5. 21 plus 5 minus of minus is plus she lost 26 marks. 26 marks by attempting 13 questions which she got incorrect answers. 26 divided by 2, since each incorrect answer carries negative 2 marks. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Mohini got 13 wrong answers, so she lost those 26 marks. Instead of ending up with positive marks, although she got 7 correct answers, she ended up with a negative score of -5 because she attempted 13 questions which she could not answer correctly, and she answered them wrongly, incorrectly. So she got 26 minus marks. The fifth and last question in this exercise 7 of our first chapter integers is an elevator. Elevator also means lift. An elevator descends into a mine shaft at the rate of 6 meters per minute. The fifth question, the data is 6 meters per minute. It is going down 6 meters per minute. Okay, it's an elevator which is taking people or goods 6 meters per minute down. Okay, descending, as it is said, descending, so it is going down. If the descent starts from 10 meters above the ground, the descent is starting 10 meters above the ground. This is say ground, and it is starting from here at 10 meters. How long will it take to reach minus 350 meters? How long will it take to reach minus 350 meters? The question is. So it started at 10 meters. So that 10 meters should also be added to this. 350 plus 10 is 360 meters. The descent of the escalator of the elevator is actually, in fact, it is 360 meters. It descended 360 meters. It is descending every minute. It is descending 6 meters. So at what time, or in how many minutes, in how long, in what time it would descend 360 meters? 6166, and the 0 here, it goes 360 meters in 60 minutes or 1 hour. In 1 hour it goes down 300 and minus 350 meters in 1 hour, that is 60 minutes. Please note, children, the fourth question and fifth question. That concludes our exercise 7 of chapter 1 integers. That concludes our chapter. The fifth and the last question I repeat for your understanding, children. There is an elevator which descends 6 meters every minute. 6 meters in 1 minute. If it starts 10 meters above the ground and it descends to minus, or it descends to 350 meters below the ground. Okay, it is starting at 10 meters above the ground and it is going down 350 meters below the ground. So actually it is covering this 350 meters plus 10 meters, 360 meters total. In total, in all it is covering 360 meters. This 360 meters divided by 6 meters, because it is covering in each minute 6 meters. So we have 60 minutes. It covers this 350 meters below the ground. For reaching 350 meters below the ground, starting from 10 meters above the ground, it needs 60 minutes or 1 hour. We know it is 1 hour. So we conclude the exercise 7 from chapter 1, integers. Now let's discuss what we have learned from your textbook, page number 24. Let's look back what we have learned in the point 1, natural numbers. We know natural numbers, the set of natural numbers begin from 1, and they are, and so on. Then we have set of whole numbers. When we include 0 along with the other numbers of natural set of natural numbers, we have whole numbers, set of whole numbers. Then we have integers. If we include negative numbers, the numbers before 0 also, with the set of whole numbers, we have integers. Then the also 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2 plus or minus 3 set of integers also represented as I, Z or I. It is integers is denoted by Z or I. Whole numbers are denoted by W, and natural numbers are denoted by N. Then the second point, each time you add a positive integer, you move right on the number line. When you add a positive integer, when you add 1 to minus 3, you have minus 2. When you add a positive integer to an integer, you end up on the right side on the number line. Then the next point, each time you add a negative integer, you move left on the number line. If we add plus 1, if we add a negative integer minus 1 to a negative integer or an integer, if you add a negative integer to an integer, you end up on the left side. So if we add minus 1 to 3, we have 2. If we add minus 1 to minus 1, we have minus 2. If we add a negative integer to an integer, you end up on the left side on the number line. The third point, each time you subtract a positive integer, you move on the left on the number line. Each time you subtract a positive integer from an integer, you end up on the left side on the number line. Each time you subtract a negative integer, you move on the right on the number line. If you subtract a negative integer, see, let's do this. Each time you add a positive integer, like say it is 3 plus 1, you end up with 4. So obviously you will end up on the right side on the number line. Each time you add a negative integer, you have 2 here, you end up on the left side. Now the third point, first point in third point, each time you subtract a positive integer, we are subtracting and this is the positive integer, we end up with a lesser than this number, then we end up on the left side on the number line. Each time we subtract a negative integer, we are subtracting and this is a negative integer, we end up with a higher number, we end up on the right side on the number line. That is what is the third point. Fourth point, each time you multiply a negative integer by a positive integer or a positive integer by a negative integer, the product is a negative integer. The fourth point, you multiply a negative integer with a positive integer, the result is negative integer. If you multiply a positive integer with a negative integer, still the result will be a negative integer. Each time you multiply two negative integers, the product is a positive integer. As we have seen before, if it is two negative integers, we have a positive integer as the result. The next one, each time product of even number of negative integers is positive, product of odd number of negative integers is negative. We have learned this before. If we have odd number of negative integers, odd number of negative integers, we have a negative integer. 5 5s are 25. This is minus into minus was plus. It is 25. 25 one time is 25, but it is a negative integer here. It is odd number of negative integers. Then we have a result as a negative integer. If we have a even number of negative integers, then we have a positive integer. 5 5s are 25, minus into minus it was plus, then it was 25 into minus 1 is minus 25, minus 25 into minus 1 is then 25. We have, when we have even number of negative integers multiplied, we get a positive integer. Then the fifth point, each time you divide, similarly, each time you divide a negative integer by a positive integer or a positive integer by a negative integer, the quotient is negative integer. Each time you divide a negative integer with a positive integer or a positive integer with a negative integer, the quotient is a negative integer. If there is an odd number of negative integers involved here, again we have a result negative integer. Like what it says is, we have minus 10 divided by 2, we have minus 5. Or we have 10 divided by minus 2, we have minus 5. Each time we divide a positive integer with a negative integer, we have quotient, we have result as a negative integer. Each time we divide a negative integer with a positive integer, we have a quotient or result as negative. Then each time you divide negative integer by a negative integer, the quotient is positive integer. Minus 10 divided by minus 5 is 2. Two negative integers involved, so we have a positive integer as result. Or if we take same numbers here, minus 10 divided by minus 2 is 5. When you multiply or divide two integers of same sign, the result is always positive. If they are opposite signs, the result is negative. As with these examples itself, we can see if the signs are opposite, then we have negative. Here we have opposite signs, then we have result negative. If we have same signs, we have a positive integer. Similarly, if we have here same signs, positive and positive, we have a positive integer. That's what the third point of fifth one says. Then the sixth point, the following are the properties satisfied by addition and subtraction of integers. This will come back with in the next video. It almost concludes our chapter integers. We can start the next chapter in the next video, that is fractions, decimals and rational numbers. Until then, note down these things, children, and prepare for the next chapter, fractions, decimals and rational numbers.